Welcome to News9 Live. I am Kartikeya Sharma and you are watching a special coverage of the exit polls. We will share state-wise data on winners and losers in a short while. But the big question is whether South India can provide much needed oxygen to the INDI Alliance. And I am separating it because North, you have states which are saturated. Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. But that debate is for a different time. South India holds its own importance. And on this, I am joined by my colleague, Sudha Sadanand, poll expert Ajay Jha, journalist Jayanto Bhattacharya, and Krishna, who will crack the numbers for us. But before we get into the debate, let me set the template for the first 1 hour. We will take you through the strength of INDI Alliance in each state and discuss whether BJP can make a dent in any of the states other than Karnataka, because BJP did make a dent and formed the government and Yediyurappa became the chief minister, and that was 2008. Now let us take a look at the big picture. And the big picture is about the South. And CPM is in power in Kerala. DMK Congress Alliance is in power in Tamil Nadu. So both the states, BJP is not in power. Congress is in power in Telangana. YSRCP is in power in Andhra Pradesh. Jagan Mohan Reddy. And Congress is in power in Karnataka. So you see, BJP is not in power in any of the states as of now. So when we talk about Karnataka, what do we talk first? BJP is in shambles. So the issue is, will the Congress, which came to power on Labharti politics, surge ahead in Karnataka? What will happen to the house of the Gowdas? But first, the big news. It is make or break for BJP in Karnataka. Make or break. The house is not in order. And will Lingayats support Bharatiya Janata Party? Because they just couldn't get it right after Yediyurappa was forced to retire. And there's a close fight in central Karnataka. So before I ask questions, put them out, let us play out the data. And the data very clearly puts the screen. Yes, so the BJP won 25 seats in Karnataka. This is 2019 data. Congress won 1 seat in 2019. And I'm just keeping it to Lok Sabha right now. BJP vote share was 51%. Congress vote share was 31%. Then came the assembly election. And assembly election, the picture was different. But I'll confine myself to the Lok Sabha. So that do you think that in Lok Sabha, Karnataka is going to behave the way it behaved in 2019?
Well, I think that this time around, like you read in your intro and you spoke about it, the BJP is in complete shambles. And remember, it's a cadre-based party. And it is very unusual, and Karnataka is the only state where B.S. Yediyurappa and, very interestingly, Ishwarappa, they started the party, they went on cycles and, started the party there. But it's in complete shambles. You see, Yediyurappa was taken screaming and shouting from his GMC. After that, recently during assembly elections, we saw, Jagadish Shettar, Lakshman Savadi, all of them leaving the party. Of course, Shettar came back. This is up. Ishwarappa is now a rebel. He's fighting in Shivamoga. You see that there is a lot of protest against what they call for the first time in Karnataka. It's unheard of in the BJP dynastic politics. Yediyurappa's son, Vijendra, also Raghavendra, is standing. They are saying, what do we do against this bastion of the Yediyurappas? Where do we go? So BJP is in complete shambles. So far as the Congress is concerned, Kartikeya, the 5 guarantees work like a magic for them. And you saw the minorities moving towards them. You saw Vokaligas, because D.K. Shivakumar is also a Vokaliga. So therefore, I think this time around, it's going to be a very, very tough fight for the BJP and of course, its alliance partner, which is facing one of the major blots of its entire career. And what a shame, because, it's the only regional party, son of, salt of the earth kind of a thing, the Prajwal Revanna blot. So that's where it stands. The Congress on a very, very strong footing, except coastal Karnataka, which is called the Hindutva laboratory for Karnataka. It is called that. There maybe the BJP will be able to do because of Neha Hiremat Burdakar.
Krishna, we had long conversations on South. Is it really right for me to say that the South behaves differently? Can South be a unit in itself? Is it correct to see Souths like that?
Well, to be really honest, you began on that note of Karnataka, which is probably behaves very differently from the rest of South India.
Can I be honest? Why Karnataka? Familiarity.
Fair enough. But there is actually a logic to it as well. If you see the way Andhra Pradesh votes, or Telangana votes, or Tamil Nadu votes, or Kerala votes, the BJP goes against the Congress in the South in only one state, and that state is Karnataka. So in a sense, to call South as one bloc is correct in many ways, but when it comes to national politics, it is difficult to categorize it as one bloc, mainly because you have Karnataka. Karnataka with what, 28 Lok Sabha seats, behaves very differently from a Kerala. Different parties, national parties, fighting it out both for the Lok Sabha seats as well as when it comes to the Vidhan Sabha as well, the state elections as well. So, in a sense, it's both right and wrong. But it's great that we begin talking about Karnataka simply because let's take a look at the numbers. You're talking about 2019. Let's begin at 2014. If we can have those 2014 numbers, the BJP winning 17 seats. In the 2014 Lok Sabha elections in Karnataka. There you go. And the Congress winning 9, the JDS winning 2. This was roughly the way Karnataka behaved, in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Look at that, there is coastal Karnataka, as Sudhaji was talking about, even at a time when the BJP was not exactly sweeping, the coastal Karnataka, the Hindutva laboratory over there, it is all saffron over there.
This is 2014.
This is 2014 that we're talking about. We're just taking this back by a decade. Let's come from 2014 and then onwards to 2019. This is 2014 when, the total tally for the NDA was around 330 odd. It wasn't as much as 2019 where they improved the tally. Karnataka behaved this way in the 2014 elections. Now, let me bring this back and bring it back to 2019, which is more recent, help us get an understanding. Look at what happened in 2019. Oh my God, that's a saffron wave over there. That's not just coastal Karnataka. That is all over Karnataka, barring a couple of legacy seats in southern Karnataka. You have everything else all going the saffron way. And funnily enough, right after this, when the state elections came around, the Congress party won Karnataka. Yes. So to call even Karnataka doesn't behave the same way when it comes to the state elections and the central elections. But same is not the story for Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh ends up voting for YSR.
Let me just interrupt you, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. We're talking about Karnataka. President of the Congress is speaking. Let's listen in, and we'll get back to this discussion in a jiffy.
मीडिया के मेरे दोस्तों और यहाँ पर पधारे हुए दूसरे पार्टी के भी जो कार्यकर्ता हैं, आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज हमारी बैठक हुई, कम से कम 2.5 घंटे तक हमने बहुत से विषय पे चर्चा किए, खास करके चुनाव और चुनाव के वक्त क्या क्या कमजोरियां हो सकते हैं और क्या क्या कठिनाइयां आ सकते हैं, किस ढंग से उन चीज़ों को हम निभाना है और करेक्शन कर लेना है और हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं को जो इंस्ट्रक्शन देना है, तो उसके बारे में आज हम डिटेल चर्चा करके काउंटिंग के दिन जो हमको केयर लेना चाहिए और हमारे कार्यकर्ता, अब बहुत से गठबंधन पार्टी के नेता लोग पहले ही वो तय करके अपने केडर को बहुत से बार बोले हैं, लेकिन फिर भी हम एज ए प्रिकॉशन आज सब मिलके सबको एक इशारा देना था कि हम किस ढंग से इस आते चुनाव के दिन लड़ना चाहिए और बोलना चाहिए। ये चीज़ पे हमने चर्चा की। दूसरा, हमारा जो गठबंधन का जो एक निर्णय ये है कि हम जो आज बीजेपी और उनके साथी लोग खास करके एग्जिट पोल पे बहुत वो लोग चर्चा करेंगे और इसीलिए लोगों में कंफ्यूजन नहीं होना और वो जो
Now, let us come to Telangana, and on Telangana, Sudha is the expert.
Well, after Karnataka, we, like Kartikeya said, we now go towards, let's take our car towards Telangana. A lot is at stake for the BJP in this state. It's a kind of a promised land for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and for Congress, it is a matter of hope, and for BRS, it is a matter of sheer survival. First, the big news. What is the big news in Telangana? Will the minorities stay with Revant Reddy? That is the big news so far as Telangana is concerned. Will the minorities stay with Revant Reddy, the newly minted Chief Minister of Telangana? And the second one, has the insider or outsider debate harmed the Bharatiya Janata Party? There has been a debate. Insider versus outsider. Will that harm the BJP? And the third one is it curtains for the Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti? What was earlier called TRS is now called the BRS. Is it curtains? Is it finito, swan song for the BRS? That's the big story in Telangana. Now, let's talk about the Telangana tussle, as it were, and give you the lay of the land in Telangana. The BRS won 9 seats in 2019 with 41% votes. That's what the BRS did. Of course, it rechristened itself to BRS. Earlier, it was the Telangana Rashtra Samiti. The BJP won 4 seats with 19% vote share. Look at that. That's what everybody was saying then, saying it now. 4 seats with 19% vote share. The Indian National Congress won 3 seats with 29% votes. So, let's now deep dive into what is really going on in Telangana. What is it looking for all these parties? What we said, Kartikeya, is that is it curtains for BRS? So, ideally speaking, everybody, it's now a bipolar contest.
You see, if you look at the genesis of Revant Reddy, and the reason why I am saying this is, the entire Telangana Congress setup was against him. He was solely pushed by Rahul Gandhi, and he is the only politician within the Congress setup of a new generation imported from outside that has worked for the party. Generally, most of the leaders have been of old stock, dominated Rahul Gandhi, led to split in Madhya Pradesh, problem in Rajasthan, or Rahul couldn't decide between Bhupesh Baghel and T.S. Singhdev. But Revant Reddy was able to prove himself. Now, the only issue is that Revant has been able to contain BRS, Sudha. The larger issue is that Revant has not been able to tackle the Hindutva juggernaut in the state. And that's where the proof of the pudding is, Ajit. So, BJP is doing well, Congress is doing well, and BRS is in shambles. The question is why a party 9 years ago or 10 years ago was responsible for the birth of the Telangana state is in shambles.
Well, let me tell you, the BJP is in, the house is in very, very bad shape. But Krishna, before you start showing us the numbers, there's a breaking news that's coming up right now on your screens. India bloc will win minimum 295 seats, says Mallikarjun Kharge. That's the breaking. India bloc will win minimum 295 seats. I mean, it's strange as it is. They want to stay out of the exit poll, but they want to keep throwing numbers. India bloc will win minimum 295 seats. That's coming from Mallikarjun Kharge right now. That is the breaking news. I think I should go to Ajit and talk a bit about that. Ajit, they have said we don't believe in kind of doing stuff for TRP. I've read various reports. They were very reluctant, Jointo and Ajit both. But Ajit, you first. What does this mean? I mean, you're sending out a message which is also, let me say, punting, as it were. They wanted to be out of the punting game. Is that right?
Well, I mean, given the fact that the BJP went on with Ab Ki Baar 400 Par, so the Congress learned from their enemy. See, politics is a game of strategy, right? You always update yourself, you learn from your enemy, you try to beat them one. So I don't know why 295, why not 300? That I kind of find a rather strange.
Which is interesting, but above the magic number, as it were, which is 272, I want to ask Jointo, very good question by Ajit Jha. He says, bhai, why 295? It's like, you know, remember the Bata shoe prices, 99.9 rupees. So why not 300? I mean, what do you think? They don't want to equate themselves with the Bharatiya Janata Party?
I think he wanted to be more convincing, it seems like. Saying 300, it's a round figure. So therein lies the answer to your question.
Yes.
But today, coming out with these numbers, see, it's about building up a story, building up that kind of a picture that you have to project before the nation more among your followers. So here he cannot say that we did not go for all these polls, exit polls and all, but here I am giving an exit poll standing here in Delhi that yes, we are confident that we are going to have a majority, we are going to build the next government at the center. He had to do that and I answered. That's what I feel. He wanted to be more convincing for his followers.
What do you think, Kartikeya? What is with this, 295, and why stay out of the exit poll?
I'm pretty surprised. I'm pretty surprised of the fact that Mallikarjun Kharge in his private conversations has been given a different number. I understand he's the president of the Congress party and he will have to come out with a position. That's fair enough. But on the larger issue, this election has been fought around Prime Minister Modi. The narrative in the conversation, I can confess that I have not travelled all over India, barring a couple of forays here in UP, Haryana and Odisha. The narrative is Modi kitni seat se jeetega, Modi ki kitni seat badhegi ya Modi ki kitni seat kam hogi. If I say that the truth is somewhere between the narrative, because we are not able to get the facts, even the best of the journalists will not be able to process those facts into numbers or the representative statistics, and we have we have two people who deal with data here actually. The only thing I realized was the conversation, even those who are part of the Modi ecosystem, was, are the seats going down? Will they be able to retain the 303 mark? So that told me that maybe something is at play. Maybe the people are at play, or some X factor is at play, which is making this election tick, which I thought was a dead election even before it started. Because Prime Minister for the first phase was only talking about guarantees and opposition had nothing to say.
Right. Okay.
The only question I have to ask at this stage is, does anybody here think that that 295 number is more wishful thinking than actual prediction of how much the India Alliance could be coming up with? Because you see the numbers that even Arvind Kejriwal gave the TV9 network just a couple of days ago. You wrote it down on a piece of paper and gave it to the TV9 network's correspondent that the NDA is not going to cross 250 seats this time around. You know, in that sense, there's a lot of bluster that goes on just before the final results come out.
All right.
The bluster is supported by the social media, which sees itself as an alternative to the television media. Right?
All right. And now, Krishna, before you project the Telangana numbers as to what it looked 2014 and 2019, let me also welcome to guest Sunita Aaron, senior journalist, consulting editor with the Hindustan Times and a very well-known author. And we also have Dr. Anil Verma, once again a very, very senior political analyst. Both of them have joined us now on this debate, and welcome to our broadcast, both of you, Sunita and Dr. Verma. But before we move on, Krishna here will project the Telangana numbers, and then we start this debate on South as a block. Will it add fuel to the block? Go ahead.
All right, let's quickly take a look. So I'm going to begin again with the 2014 numbers. And the BRS, or the Bharat Rashtriya Samiti, formerly known as Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, can look at the 2040 numbers with rose-tinted glasses. Because all the pink over here that you're seeing over here, that was the BRS sweeping the whole of Telangana. 11 out of the 17 parliamentary seats that are there in Telangana, barring a couple of TDP and a couple of Congress seats over there. It was the BRS which had a dominant say in 2014. That was 2014. If we just change that to 2019, look at that. This is Andhra that I'm talking about, but there was no Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti in the 2019. So YSRCP sweeping Andhra Pradesh over here, and the TDP barely with 1 or 2 seats. There you go. On top, you have the Srikakulam seat, which was won by the TDP, and the Narsaraopet seat won by the TDP. So you have,
look at the margin.
Yeah, look at the margins over here.
Look at the margin.
So it was a blue color sweep across Andhra Pradesh, in 2019 over here. But if you look at 2014,
okay, I would just like to stop you for a minute. I think JP Nadda is giving a bite on the Election Commission of India. Maybe it has to do with the Kanyakumari. Let's play it out.
इनको धत्ता दिखा करके इनको किनारे लगाएंगे और देश को मजबूती प्रदान करने में पूरा योगदान करेंगे। मेरा पूरा विश्वास है कि भारत के मतदाता प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में मेरी पार्टी, हम सबकी पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 370 से ज्यादा सीटें देंगे और एनडीए 400 पार करेगी। इस विश्वास के साथ मैं भारत के इस लोकतंत्र के चुनाव में भाग लेने वाले सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं और साथ में मैं यह भी कहना चाहूंगा कि यह लोकतंत्र का पर्व जो दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा पर्व रहा, इसमें आपकी भागीदारी के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
I think the way Bharatiya Janata Party leaders have actually, it's like Occupy Wall Street, they have occupied each and every corner of TV. You see, you have Prime Minister Modi, the long shot at Kanyakumari, you have Mr. Nadda speaking, you have this huge meeting taking place, but the media coverage did not show interest.
Right.
I mean, this is sort of saturated coverage they have done. 75 plus interviews by Prime Minister.
Absolutely.
The sort of rallies he has done. This election was about Prime Minister, and let me tell our audience, 6:30 onwards, we will start showing results state by state. We have made it easier for you. We will not go face by face. We will go state by state. So moving on, Sudha, do we have any other state?
No, should we just dip into our guests who've just joined us, take one question on Telangana, maybe from Sunita Aaron. How do you look, answer this for us, the larger question as it were. Do you think the South will add to the India bloc strength this election? Because for the BJP, they've not been able to drive a chink in the South's armor.
Okay, Sudha, before I answer this, I think I want to make a comment on Kharge's prediction of 295. I think basically it is to keep the morale of the workers high till the counting day. Because today, in case the exit polls come with a figure which is not, like they are not forming the government according to the exit polls, then the workers get demoralized, and the counting day is very important, in this atmosphere of mistrust. Regarding South, I think Kartikeya was asking about if South has to be looked differently. If I look at UP, then East and West are different, so we have to look at those two corners differently. I think BJP needs to win their politics differently when it comes to South. Perhaps they have to tweak their issues of Hindutva, the leadership that they need in South, and do it. Yes, this election, INDI Alliance is going to gain in South, and I think it's written on the wall.
All right, and with that, should we move to the next state, ladies and gents, which is Tamil Nadu, my state. Although there is an anti-incumbency against Muka Stalin, but he's on a strong wicket because AIADMK's house is really not in order. It has disintegrated to a large extent. First, let's take a look at the big news. The big news. 1. Can Modi breach Tamil Nadu fortress? That is the first question, the big question that we are asking. And number 2, coming up on your screen right now, is K. Annamalai on a sticky wicket? Is Annamalai on a sticky wicket? That is the other question that we are asking you vis-a-vis Tamil Nadu. And now let us look deep into data, which of course later Krishna will also explain in detail going towards the past. But as of now, this is how the data is looking at. Congress DMK holds the ground in the house of ADMK because ADMK house is not in order. The house of ADMK is not in order. The DMK Congress alliance is stable. What is the vote share of looking like of DMK Congress? It stands at 35%. And the vote share of ADMK is 19%. The DMK alliance won 38 seats. Yes, you heard it right. The Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam won 38 seats out of 39 seats. So, my question to you also, to both of you, Jointo and as well as you, Ajit. The thing is, look at this. Modi makes more than 10-12 visits to Tamil Nadu. Sengol, we all know, he brings it to the parliament. He speaks about Kachitiv. There was a Kashi Tamil Sangamam. And now he goes for Kanyakumari, for the retreat, 45-hour retreat. He's done everything. He's given Tamil the kind of dignity which no other prime minister in this country has given. what makes the BJP not able to breach the fortress of Tamil Nadu?
Well, you see, the thing is, there is always a free entry barrier in any kind of monopoly exercise, right? So in politics as well, the BJP didn't have a presence. In 2019, when Prime Minister Modi went to Tamil Nadu, there were shouts, go back, Modi. But look at the way things turned around this time. The kind of acceptance he got in Coimbatore. I remember I was listening to his speech there, where he started talking about Sanatan Dharma, and then suddenly from the crowd people were saying, talk about development as well. I mean, this is a total acceptance of Modi, a so-called North Indian party in a sense, and at the same time, I think when we see the results,
right,
I think in terms of votes, the BJP will make a serious dent from what, 3% almost, to I think it will be close to about 12%.
Oh
Their
my
aim
God.
is 25%,
Oh, that's
but
a
10
jump,
to 12%,
like huge
at least
one.
a double digit.
All
in terms
right.
of seats, maybe at least a couple, Coimbatore, Kanyakumari, let's see.
All
It's
right.
difficult
Dr.
to predict.
Verma, let me bring you in. We've got one breaking news. There you go. Tejashwi Yadav says their narrative of 400 has flopped, obviously, you know, targeting the BJP. He says election surveys in favor. He says that their narrative of 400 has flopped.
Can I ask a question to Dr. Verma? Dr. Verma, do you think that this 400 was a trap that opposition kept on, you know, talking about 400 nahi milenge, 400 nahi milenge, and then the BJP walks away, chalo 300 leke chale jate hain. And then
You
you
need
realize
400 to
and
form
then
the
you realize,
government.
272 is the majority. It doesn't make a difference whether you have 272 or 300. Dr. Verma.
Certainly, Kartikeya, it was a moral booster to the party and the organization, and 400 or less than 400 doesn't make much of a difference. The only thing is that there is a saying in our site that Nishane se tir upar maro varna var khali jayega. So that was a kind of a strategy that probably Modi had adopted. But it has harmed both the sides, you know, actually, because many of the Modi supporters, they became overconfident that Modi is coming and they didn't turn up, and that's why the slowdown in the vote share, turnout of voters. And also the opposition voters also got panicky and said Modi is coming and therefore there is no way why they should wait vote the opposition party. So there was a downslide so far as the voters turnout is concerned. So I think this 400 par or no 400 par has not been very effective. The only thing is that in the public discourse, it has brought out a psychological, you know, perception that the discourse has centered around this. It's not that Modi is winning or not winning. The discourse centered around whether he will be getting 400 or not 400. That's it.
Okay, Krishna, can you just you know, give a sense of the numbers? Tamil Nadu, the enormity of the challenge from the BJP's perspective. BJP has done well in a lot of places, expectedly and unexpectedly. But you know, Tamil Nadu, I wouldn't say it's an exceptional state, or I would make an exception of Tamil Nadu, but I would definitely use the word unique and a different sort of a state.
I would call it the curious case of Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
let's see the curious case of Tamil Nadu. Again, the numbers really paint the picture beautifully. You know, the BJP sees red in Tamil Nadu because these are the 2014 numbers, and the red this in 2014 here is basically the AIADMK. The AIADMK over there, 37 seats for the AIADMK out of 39. I mean, it's called the curious case. I'm saying it for a reason. Whatever happens in Tamil Nadu, there's always a sweep, or in one way or the other. There's a wave, one way or the other, be it the state elections or the central elections. There have been times when Jayalalitha has been the late chief minister, former chief minister Jayalalitha was in power, and the AIADMK did not win a single seat in the Lok Sabha election. We have seen a DMK sweep for 39-0 in Tamil Nadu when Jayalalitha was the sitting chief minister. So clearly, you know, there is a curious case over there because there is a different voting pattern that happens depending upon the national level alliance, depending upon what's happening between the Tamil Nadu government and the national level alliance. 2014 AIADMK sweep over there. All red for the national parties, whichever is the national party at the time. I mean, 2014, of course, was the NDA, was the BJP government first coming to power. Look at what happened in 2019. A lot of red. This time around, this red pointing to DMK. A lot of red over here in DMK. But then again, this is the DMK Congress alliance you're talking about. So numbers wise, 24 DMK on its own. Then you have 8 for the Congress party. Another 4 for the communist parties over there. AIADMK 1. So the AIADMK went from 37 in 2014 to just 1 seat in 2019. That's the kind of opposite sweep that took place in 2019. The only question is, which way is it going to go in 2024? Now, I've spoken to journalists across the board in Tamil Nadu, and they say something very simple. If the DMK gets anything less than 35, it is on a sticky wicket. The DMK is on a sticky wicket when it comes to fighting the next state election. The DMK, it's not good for the DMK if it gets anything less than 35. And the BJP, if it manages to win 4 seats, that's a massive victory for the BJP.
Okay, my question, Ajit, is where are those 4 seats? We have to locate a seat. When we say that the Congress will win 4 seats in UP,
right,
we will have to locate 4 seats.
But obviously first is Coimbatore, but it's not going to be an easy walk.
Kanyakumari,
Kanyakumari, no, but Kanyakumari also has a major Christian population. There is 46% Hindus, so 46% Christians. I think Modi, that's what I was talking today on the screen, that he's done a very smart thing. So, coming to that, no, Nagarkoil, Kanyakumari, all these areas are Christian dominated. Nadars, the businessmen are majorly, prosperous there. Coimbatore looks to me the only seat for me. But, please understand that Coimbatore, Singai, Ramachandran and everyone are very, very strong contenders in themselves. And much like what Krishna says, the thing is that it is always a wave or a sweep. It's neither here nor there. Let's not forget, Mr. Kamal Hassan stood from Coimbatore last time.
And lost.
And lost. He's a film star. Everyone says, oh, you Tamils, you only think about film star. Jointo, that thing, would you agree, has now been broken completely. Film stars ki koi khas jagah ab hai nahi.
Yes, the way it seems, Sudha, I wouldn't say the other rest of the country, because we have seen that in other parts, film stars are doing pretty well. They are becoming MPs and coming to parliament also, especially the east. But coming back to Tamil Nadu, what I feel is that I do tend to agree that right now, again, the curious case is getting curiouser and curiouser when we are talking about giving 4 seats. But talking about the Christian voters or the populations there, I think you never know. Whenever there is a polarization, you know who has finally got the better of it. We have seen that so it may turn into another curious case over there also.
It can, because of the Sterlite thing, because of the DMK's role, they had kept quiet. But that does not mean that their preferred party could be BJP. I'm just punting right now, because in a few, half an hour, it's all going to get very, very clear.
Absolutely. Before we go any forward with this conversation, let us play out the 3 bites we have got. Tejashwi Yadav and a couple of other people after the India Alliance.
दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र भारत के सबसे बड़े चुनाव उत्सव का 7वां चरण पूरा हुआ है और यह सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र का सबसे बड़ा चुनाव हुआ। सबसे पहले तो इसको सफल तरीके से आयोजन के लिए मैं चुनाव आयोग को तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं, जिसने इस लोकतंत्र के पर्व को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से हूं और धन्यवाद भी देता हूं। और सच में यह दुनिया के लिए देखने वाला विषय है कि किस तरीके से चुनाव आयोग इतने बड़े लोकतंत्र का चुनाव कराता है और किस बारीकियों को ध्यान में लेकर के कराता है। यह सच में एक रिसर्च का विषय भी है, शोध का विषय भी है। लेकिन मैं आज इस 7वें चरण के समाप्ति पर चुनाव आयोग को पुनः बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। मैं इसके साथ साथ हमारे चुनाव आयोग के लाखों कर्मचारी जो जमीन पर उतर करके जिन्होंने मतदान को सफलतापूर्वक पूरा कराने में अपना योगदान किया है और सुरक्षा कर्मियों ने जिन्होंने दिन रात मेहनत करके कानून व्यवस्था को बना करके लोगों का लोकतंत्र में विश्वास को मजबूती देते हुए चुनाव आयोग के इस मंशा को कि चुनाव आयोग निष्पक्ष हो, इसको पूरा करने में हमारे लाखों चुनाव आयोग के कार्यकर्ता और साथ में सुरक्षा कर्मचारी, उनको भी मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं जिन्होंने इस काम को अंजाम तक पहुंचाया है।
इंडिया गठबंधन कम से कम 295 सीटें प्लस 295 से ज्यादा आएंगे, कम तो नहीं आएंगे। ये हमने आकलन किया कि सभी हमारे नेताओं से पूछने के बाद ये एक आंकड़ा हमारे पास मिला है और इस आंकड़े में कोई बदलाव नहीं है। ये एक जनता की सर्वे है, हमारा सर्वे नहीं है। जो जनता ने सीधा हमारे को कहा है और हमारे नेताओं को जो इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाया है, उस आधार पर ये हमने आज आप लोगों को बता रहे हैं।
जो जनता का जो पोल है, जनता का जो सर्वे है, वो महागठबंधन इंडिया गठबंधन के पक्ष में है और 295 तो उनका फिल्म फर्स्ट फेज में फ्लॉप हो गया 400 का।
ध्यान मग्न है, वो गायब हो जाएंगे 4 तारीख को, और 4 तारीख को मंगल है, मंगल सबसे ज्यादा सीटें समाजवादी पार्टी और इंडिया अलायंस की होंगी।
All right, now we will move to the other state, which is Andhra Pradesh. But before that, we have some breaking news right now on your screens. Kejriwal says BJP will get around 220 seats. That's what Kejriwal is saying.
I think psephologists should be worried.
Yeah,
he's doing the psephologist job.
Yeah, I think you know what Sunita said was absolutely. I agree with her. They are creating a ground. Both Kharge, when you saw Kharge speaking, Kejriwal was standing behind him in his blue bush shirt. So Kejriwal now says BJP will get around 220 seats, punting, much like what Kartikeya said, psephologists and also the other punters who are sitting there and watching the screens right now. Let me go to Dr. Verma. Dr. Verma, you know, Sunita said that what Kharge said is basically laying the ground, also assuaging the fears of the supporters, you know, those who will now be involved when the counting day is there, etc., etc. Do you think this is actually running away with it, 220 seats? That's what Kejriwal says. Why is he punting? And, you know, both, I mean, part of the INDI Alliance, as it were, Kejriwal and Kharge, the two Ks.
As a opposition and as a united opposition, they have a right to float their own numbers, and that's no problem. And as he himself just now said that it's a conglomerate of the numbers that he has got from the India bloc partners. But you see, one thing is very clear that so far as I have understood this entire business of numbers, it's very, very tricky thing. For two reasons. One is that unless you do an empirical study and collect the data, that's not possible. And even if you do the empirical study and collect the data, so far as I know, there is no formula where a vote share can be converted into seats. So what they are doing is actually they are going by the feedback of their own party members. And naturally, the party men are at least positive about many of the seats where they know that, they are probably evenly contested or they may be losing probably. So these numbers actually don't matter to us. And let us wait for the 6:30 because many of the agencies that have been doing the empirical studies, they will come up with certain numbers. And last time we saw in 2019 that most of them got it very right and very close actually. So I am very curious to look at the numbers to be given by the various agencies at 6:30.
All right, Dr. Verma, and now it's the turn of Andhra Pradesh. Let us look at how is Andhra Pradesh looking like, will look like, and let's look at how, you know, the Congress lost this state after dividing united Andhra Pradesh. The YSRCP, I beg your pardon, swept both the Lok Sabha as well as the Assembly seats in 2019, bagging 49% of votes. That was some record, 49% of votes. Now the battle even as we speak is between YSRCP and the TDP, BJP, JSP alliance. Now the big news on your screens right now is Jagan facing anti-incumbency. That's the big question which is coming up. Is he facing anti-incumbency? And also the absence of a capital, is it impacting all the parties in Andhra Pradesh? When I say all the parties, I mean the parties, the three combined against YSRCP. Now let's look at the battle for Andhra Pradesh as it were, and look at YSRCP, which won 22 seats with 49.9% of votes, some record that. The TDP, that is a Telugu Desam party, won 3 seats with 40.2% of the votes, and the BJP and Congress did not win a single seat. That's the story out there. And now, Krishna, if you would like to project the numbers for Andhra Pradesh, and then of course we will go to the experts and speak about it.
Right. On your screens right now, coming up on your screens, is the undivided Andhra Pradesh back in 2014, which we just had a look over. Yes, the BRS over there sweeping Telangana, the Telangana part of Andhra Pradesh once upon a time when it was undivided Andhra Pradesh. But then you look at what's happening down below Telangana. You have YSRCP winning 9 seats, Congress winning 2, BJP winning 3, and AIMIM winning 1. And mainly it was the TDP, especially in coastal Andhra Pradesh, winning 16 seats. This is 2014 numbers. Let me reiterate, this is the way it looked, the undivided Andhra Pradesh looked in 2014. Push it down to 2019. Look at what happened. That blue wave,
oh my God,
that 49%, near 50% vote share, YSRCP got all the blues over here is the YSRCP, a massive coastal Andhra Pradesh, interior Andhra Pradesh, there was absolutely no difference. This was a complete wholesome sweep. Let's just look at where all the TDP won. The Srikakulam seat, Mohan Naidu over there, winning it with a margin of around 6,600 votes. That was the only seat that TDP won.
Slim margin though.
Very slim margins. And then you had the Vijayawada seat.
Kesineni.
Yes, Kesineni Srinivasa winning by again 8,700 odd votes. And then you had the other one, which is the Guntur seat. So Guntur, Vijayawada and Srikakulam went to the TDP, but that's just like, that really didn't tell the story of Andhra Pradesh. The story of Andhra Pradesh was the emergence of YSRCP as a party, Jagan Mohan Reddy as a leader, because this was replicated, as Sudha was talking about, in the state assembly elections as well. Absolutely. The only question here, as Sudha has been asking at the beginning, is that after all of these massive victories, is there enough anti-incumbency in Andhra Pradesh for Jagan Mohan Reddy to lose, to see ground?
Yeah.
See, we have to understand that Jagan Mohan Reddy has come a long way.
Yes.
Jagan Mohan Reddy was literally kicked out of the party. Jagan Mohan Reddy was not accommodated by Sonia and Rahul even as a cabinet minister. I covered Udarpur Yatra. And that's when the people came out. He wanted to do it for his father. Obviously, it was a political mobilization that was happening. But what Jagan did was he actually inherited the entire Congress machinery there. The only time that has happened was when Tamil Manila Congress was formed. The entire Congress infrastructure shifted to Tamil Manila Congress. If you go to these areas, the entire Congress infrastructure is with the YSRCP. There is no Congress there. I think YSRCP will need to merge with the Congress for the Congress to become Congress. I don't know how much Sharmila has made a dent. So the control is there. Secondly, there is one more element in the politics of Andhra Pradesh, which is you have a lot of Christian voters there. And third and the foremost, there is no leadership in Congress. And lastly, this is the Janasena, TDP and BJP alliance put together. If you count their votes, today it stands at 48%.
And also the whole capital issue is also very important.
That's
you come tomorrow, 2nd of June, Hyderabad ceases to be the capital of Andhra Pradesh. Revanth Reddy has done what he could. He's changed the emblem, he's got a song, everything is in order. There is complete silence because, as you well know, there is a controversy brewing whether it should be 3 capitals or it could be only Amravati, which is promoted by Chandrababu Naidu. Don't you think, Jayanto, for the young and Chandrababu Naidu, who stands for what is called, remember Cyberabad? Empowering people, IT, development. Don't you think for the youth, not having a capital is a major, as you call, disadvantage?
Yes, indeed. Sudha, in fact, I was thinking about Babu only when we were talking about it.
Right.
That right now, Krishna, when you were showing that map, if you go to the NDA 1, that is I'm talking about led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, I think at that point of time, whatever color you give, it would look something like that in favor of TDP. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
And suddenly everything changed. I do share what Kartikeya said just now. Jagan himself wanted to continue. If he had a platform, if he was given a suitable position, even his mother wanted that they continue with the Congress, which did not happen. Anyway, to come to your question, so that was another reason also that affected Babu the other way. What I mean is that later on it was said that he was concentrating more on urban areas, talking about cyber city, talking about IT, but ignoring the villages, the rural area and the farmers. And then came Jagan. Because he had his father, his name was there, and he also evolved as a person who people could trust, could accept, and suddenly the color changed, as you are showing right now. So I think I've been able to...
Yes, absolutely. And Ajit, and don't you think, Ajit, that this whole welfare thing, I mean, today North is getting up, waking up to, Labharthi and Revdi and all that, refuse to call it Revdi. But the point is that the whole welfare politics started in the South, way back in South India. Kamaraj started it, midday meals, and after. My question is, Jagan Mohan has done so much of welfare, like he said. He's concentrated on the rural people, Jagan Annavodi and stuff like that, which is a major, don't you think that's a big feather in his cap, Arogya Shri?
Absolutely. In fact, I think the entire Andhra, it seems at this moment, is divided, rural versus urban. TDP with its right-wing ideology, in fact, in many ways, Nadu is the person who represented, I always say, the Swatantra Party of India today, right? He is clear-cut. Remember, Bill Gates used to think of Naidu as the hero of sort of India at one time. So, yeah, it is a typical rural versus urban. But given the fact that there are more rural seats, what surprises me, what the paradox is, that if there is this story going on that Jagan is going to lose in a big way, where is he going to lose if he still controls the rural areas? Or are the Lok Sabha polls completely different from the assembly polls?
One thing I'm going to say is the women voters are with Jagan Mohan Reddy. Let's wait. And it's a major, almost 2 crores of women voters. They all like Jagan Anna meaning Dada, older brother. They are all voting for him because they say he's done things for us. Arogya Shri, he's given me money, he's given me food, I am with him. TDP has also managed that, but a known evil is always better for a woman than an unknown evil.
Okay, I think we are. Can I add something here? Just one line. Just one
Kerala?
line. Another
yes, Kerala. Yeah, let's go.
Just one line I want to add here, Sudha. What we are talking about, Andhra Pradesh, I find another very interesting thing here. There is a contest not only between the parties, but also 2 consultants. They are both good in their own way, and they are advising most of the things to these 2 groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move on to Kerala, because Kerala is one state, BJP is very gung-ho about. Amit Shah organized a yatra a couple of years ago. The entire focus was on the state, but then didn't work out like that. But Kerala is one state where BJP thinks that they can do the Goa model. They can do the Goa way. It has its potentials, but the way they have deployed the Goa model in Kerala is very different from the way they operated Goa and won Goa, retained Goa under Parekar. So Kerala is proving to be sort of a tough territory, but despite the fact that they had numbers in 2 digits. This is very important to keep in mind. BJP, as I said, want to repeat its performance of Goa in this state. And when I use the word Goa, I obviously mean the word Christian outreach. Now, has it worked? Will Pinarayi hold the ground? And Congress and CPM are together in Delhi, but they are fighting elections in Kerala. So, this is the template. But the big news is, will it be a no-show for BJP in Kerala, despite the numbers? And everyone would like to know, will Rahul Gandhi give up Wayanad? That's another big question. And now let us look at the data. So data is very, very clear. Congress won 15 seats. And it won 15 seats with 37.5% of vote share. Left won 1 seat with 26% of vote share. BJP got 13% of vote share with no seats. And Kerala is pretty diverse. You have North Kerala, you have Central Kerala, you have South Kerala, you have a Mopala Kerala, you have a Christian Kerala, you have a Hindu Kerala. Krishna.
Yeah, so this time around, since we're talking about the last Lok Sabha election 2019, look at that, it was a nice blue wave in Kerala in the 2019 elections. All Congress, 15 seats for the Congress party, barring a couple of them, like, you had the the Communist Party winning the Kottayam seat. Again, there is that Christian majority that you're talking about in Kottayam. Then there is also the Kollam seat. All in southern Kerala, that's where the Communist Party could win a couple of seats. But the story was all about the Communist Party when it comes to the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. It was a blue wave over there, and again, interesting in Kerala, because right after that, when the state elections came, it was the Left Democratic Front which won the state elections. But let me take this back to 2014. It was a nice divided house in 2014. Unlike Tamil Nadu, which is like a sweep state, there is no sweep that happens in Kerala. At least it didn't happen in 2014. You had the CPM, CPM winning about 5 seats. Then you had the CPI winning a seat, Congress winning about 8 seats.
Right.
It wasn't exactly a clear mandate over there as far as the 2014. This is 2014 numbers that we're talking about. But things became eventually clear in 2019, and this is where Kerala is when it comes to the last Lok Sabha elections. So let's not have any pretensions about what is happening in Kerala as far as the Lok Sabha elections are concerned. And clearly, this map will change if you put this as a Vidhan Sabha elections. Then it will all be about the Communist Party.
Okay, Sunita, my question to you is, do you think that this will be received fairly by the electorate, that you are fighting? I think there's a bit of a technical problem with Sunita's line, Dr. Verma, that you are fighting together in Delhi, and you are fighting against each other in the state.
You're talking about this Congress left thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You see, I think in Kerala it will not have much impact, because in Kerala the contestation has always been...
No impact?
It will have not much impact, because UDF is actually sweeping Kerala this time. And this is what our input is. And there is a lot of anti-incumbency against the government. So, I mean, people are not worried about whether you are fighting against each other in Delhi or in West Bengal, but they are only focused on Kerala.
Okay. Ajit?
The idea is that if the Congress and the left fights against each other, it keeps the BJP out. It's the Punjab model, where AAP and Congress fight against each other, keeps the BJP out. The other idea is that you can't have an alliance between number 1 and number 2, right? In Kerala, Congress and the left is always the number 1, number 2. Same thing in Punjab. AAP and Congress is the number 1, number 2. But how do you have the main rivals as
But the question about Kerala is, why is Congress sweeping Kerala? Or why is Congress doing so well in Kerala? That's the question.
And not the left. That's the question.
The left.
Because I feel, because the Congress is in the fray for the siyasat, which is BJP versus Congress. It's not left versus BJP. See, voters, when they vote in Lok Sabha, they vote for the prime ministerial candidate. When they vote for the Vidhan Sabha, they are voting for the CM. That's the basic assumption, rule of the thumb. So the left is never in contention in terms of becoming the power in Delhi.
Okay, Jayant.
Earlier also, if you know, since the time that the left and the Congress at state level, they wanted to come together, it was Kerala, the parties in Kerala, they were always against it, the way, the thing that you just mentioned. And why Congress? That is because, as just now someone was just mentioning it a few minutes back, that the left had been on the receiving end in Kerala for a very long time. There have been, one after the other, there have been scams that have come out during the Pinarayi Vijayan regime itself. There have been problems with Christians. If you see, perhaps that is why that dot you showed where we have the UDF there. So all these things coming together, who is the other side? It's the UDF led by the Congress. So that is the option that they have. But before I end, let me end with one little issue that I want to raise here. Kartik, you have been to Kerala, you have seen the place. Have you noticed how powerful, or rather I would say strength, the RSS has on the ground at various places? But it is not able to translate into votes for the BJP, which they have done in north and western part of West Bengal. So that is one thing that the BJP has to think about, concentrate on. Then perhaps the Congress may have some place, some kind of erosion.
Okay, I really need to conclude this 1 hour. This 1 hour was on how the South is going to behave. I think from our panelists, we've got a mixed response. There is a lot of hope for Bharatiya Janata Party in Telangana, but I really don't think there is great hope for Bharatiya Janata Party either in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. Andhra Pradesh is a different ball game, because it's one huge alliance versus another party which ended up with 49% vote. And lastly, I would say the South in itself is representing diversity of Indian politics, fell through regional parties. And I think that's what makes it beautiful. So it's time for a short break. When I'm back, after this break, I'll take you through make or break states. And these are 4 make or break states which will decide the fate of Bharatiya Janata Party. But after a short break.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the warnings.
वो पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब, तुम बतलाओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या।
I told him, you do what you think is best, I will not insist.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus news is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Healthy mind can reside in a healthy body.
That is the only cure for the restless.